Hi guys, Simon Tresellian here, and furthering on to some of the videos I've done, this one I think these next couple might actually blow your mind, because having spent a lot of time in military intelligence, I get to look at patterns, and when I see certainly politicians and countries' leaders making certain judgments and making certain transmissions of information, and then taking a look at what is actually happening on the ground in reality. Now, the big thing about politicians is the difference between politicians and warriors, right? Politicians will do anything for things to remain the same. They don't take chances. They will always do the very, very bare minimum to stay in power. That's it. They don't take chances, because if they take chances, there's a chance that it's going to fail, and then that means there's a chance that they're going to be pushed out of power. So politicians really are not the people to start making big decisions in geopolitics. They really aren't. Whereas military warriors, looking at generals, they're all about creating massive change in the smallest amount of time. Right? It's called winning a battle or winning a war. You don't want to be doing it protractedly. You want to be able to do it as quickly and as effectively as possible. Now, as a businessman, they want to create the aim or the objective, not necessarily as soon as possible, but as profitable as possible. Okay, so those are the three types of people, and those three types of people have been presidents of the United States throughout history. We've had Eisenhower and Roosevelt, and they were military people. Then you've had people like Ford and Bush, and Obama. They were politicians, real politicians. And now you get Trump, who's an actual businessman. So there is a massive difference between the way that geopolitics is done. Now, let's have a look at the big game plan. We've heard this from Trump many, many times, and it's about taking out China. Now, there are three ways to take out China. There is the political way, there's the military option, and there is the business way. Now, guess which one that Trump's going to do? That's what tariffs are for, okay? So, you begin to understand that the big play here is about taking down China. That is the big play. Everything else I'm going to tell you links to that conclusion, even though what I'm going to tell you involves Africa, Ukraine, Greenland, South America, a whole bunch of things. All of those things appear to be disconnected, but they're not. And if you understand the aspects of intelligence work, you understand that they are fully connected. All of them have a very, very powerful meaning to get you to the end result. That is what intelligence is all about, the end result. Trump is playing a very mean game. And by that, I mean that he is not doing it like a normal politician would. That is what is confounding the Democrats, because they're trying to match him politically, and it does not work. It does not work. Trump understands the military options only in as much as they support his business aspirations. And if people started to understand the mindset of Trump, they would realize the potential genius planning that is actually going on in his head. Okay? Everyone thinks he's dumb, and that really, really plays into his hand, because he's just playing a different game, that's all. He's just playing a different game. Everything he says has a reason, and it has an effect. So I did do something about tariffs before, right? None of the tariffs he's talked about have actually come to be. It's 145% on China. China have already come to the table. They're already negotiating. That's never going to happen. Same with the tariffs on Canada and European Union. None of those are happening. None of them. They've all been put off. They've all been put on a 90-day or a 30-day or a 60-day. He's merely trolling everybody. He's merely saying, I will do this, giving them time to think about it. They then calculate what that in that time frame, what that tariff is going to mean to them economically, and then they come to the table because they can't take on the USA. They just can't. China has so much business with the United States that if it stopped immediately, China would just go bankrupt almost overnight. The same with the European Union. I mean, they wouldn't be able to sell BMWs and Mercedes and everything else like that. Same with Canada. I mean, all Canada give us is, you know, syrup and bacon, really. I mean, there's not a lot of leverage that any of these countries have. The United States is by far the biggest market in the world, bar none, bar none. And it's not about population. It's about GDP, and it's about the earnings of that population. So even though India has, you know, many times more people, so does China, you know, it doesn't mean anything because their GDP is so small, their earning potential is so small per capita, it really doesn't mean anything. So over the next few videos, I'm going to join the dots and I'm going to tell you exactly what is going on in Trump's head and why the US is doing what it's going to do. This is Simon Trezelyan. Watch out for the next video. Out to you.